Okay, I'll see you soon. It is rather important to show some continuity, consistency, the need to reflect a flow, an alignment of events, to let circumstance follow one behind another. And if you are paying attention, then today's talk will align to the other talks that were given over the last 2 weeks, plus the events and circumstances within those few weeks and to the weeks and months prior. So we will follow a talk over this week, the previous 2 weeks, and the future few weeks of how we bring our true self into the physical world. 2 weeks ago, we spoke about the flow of love. And last week about the way the seed germinates at the appropriate time. A seed that was planted deep within your being, not a week ago or a month or a year, but lifetimes before. This talk and the future talks, the aim is to bring all of the teachings into a direction. Some have said that has already occurred. Well, this will take it still further as we delve into the self and the false self, the truth and the illusion, the authenticity and the illusion. So I may begin with the healing list, if I may have those now, please, Brandon.
Roz, Gia, Pat, Greg, Amanda, Guy and Helen, Graham and Wendy Beck, Tony and Teresa, Lena, Suzette, Rose Frazier, Howard, Teresa, Keyshawn, Tracy, Eric, Stephen, Matthew, Marianne, Jody, Jill, Katie, Mitch, Stephanie, Danielle and Chantel, Lorna, Helen, and Jane. Thank you.
I also wish to remind you of the experiment that is taking place. I mentioned a few months ago that there would be an announcement as my medium would be working through something he does not know about at that time. Please be aware of that coming into fruition soon. Now, let us begin. Throughout the tribulations of your life, you often present difficulties and problems, maybe with your work or school life, maybe with your employer or your partner, maybe difficulties in connection with friends, or even difficulties in your modalities, pains that you face and problems that you endure. And yet underlying all of these difficult times, from what appears to be rather minor to something more major, they all have a basis in a single question. The question being is, who am I really? How do I find this real self? And how do I then live according to that self? But this question is wrong. The question is not how do you find yourself, but how do you truly be yourself? And often man goes looking for, who am I? Who should I be? What is my authenticity? And then you look at yourselves according to what you have done well, your positive aspects. Look how good I was. And you ignore your negative aspects of things that you did not do well. So you promote your times of compassion and contentment and joy and saying, that is my authentic self. But you hide the times when, let us say, you were angry, you were selfish, you did not express the compassion. You say, that is my illusionary self. And then you develop an image of what you would like to be. I would like to be my authentic self, and I will be compassionate and joyful. And so you try to live by what you could say is your valued self, according to the values that you inherited maybe as a child, or by society, or by a belief system. You think, if I am spiritual, I must be compassionate. So you go into the world with this compassion, and you express this compassion to others. And if others agree with you and say, yes, indeed, you are a compassionate person, then you grow an inch in height, you puff out your chest, and you get a slight flush to your face. You say, somebody has seen my authenticity. Someone has seen my truth, my value, and that is my true self. I bring compassion into the world. But if this value that you have associated yourself with is not recognized in the world, then you will change the value. So if you grew up in a society where compassion was a value to be promoted, and maybe you joined a particular sporting team where compassion was not a virtue to be promoted, but a sense of self and independence, maybe that is what's promoted. The compassion will be left behind, and your new value of independence or something else would be then promoted. And you would seek others to validate this new value. So the value of you as a person at this stage is dependent upon the way the rest of the world sees and acknowledges the value that you have within yourself. And you will remember then the times where you were compassionate and say, that was me. And you'll ignore the times where you watched a movie and ate 3 tubs of ice cream and say, that is not the real me. But the truth is, both are at least part of the times when you were angry and frustrated. That is still a part of you. The times you were selfish, not just the times of your contentment and joy. So if you were to find and follow a path of working within your mind, you will always find values to be discovered and expressed, and others to be ignored and hidden from the world. And you would strive to be one thing, but not the other. To be loving and not angry. To be giving and not selfish. And so you strive your path, along your path of your spiritual unfoldment, promoting your positives, hiding your negatives. And yet you still chase this authentic self that is deep within you somewhere. Now, the spiritual path is not a journey of a simple month or a week or a year, but it is ongoing. It is ongoing beyond one lifetime. It takes courage, takes effort to look within yourself and acknowledge both sides of you. Times that you can give and times that you will withhold. So it is very important to acknowledge both sides of your mind, your personality. And in the acknowledgement that there are times when you can be selfish, for example, or angry, if you can see them when they arise at strange times, and acknowledge that they are just a part of this complex being that you have come to experience. A simple act of being aware and acknowledging means that there are times that you can work with these difficult situations or personality expression. So you should acknowledge that you have both sides of a personality, and it is your wholeness that brings the true connection for your next step. Not the just working with one and ignoring another, even though it is still part of you, but being truthful and honest and courageous with yourself. And if you look within yourself, you will find things that you do not like and have trouble loving, but they are still part of your humanistic experience. But looking within and seeing your positives and your negatives, and being courageous enough to look deep enough to first accept you have times of anger. And when you accept, you have the opportunity to love. The acceptance of anger within your being will give you the opportunity to love yourself despite your anger. So the courage becomes important to look within and to find all of these little hidden splinters that you think are not your real self. Now, we began this talk by saying the question is wrong. The real question is, how do I express this true self that is beyond all of these personality and value? And if you have been following some of the talks, you would know that this involves looking within and working with your courage, your self-esteem, your security, your connection to others, and stepping away beyond that play into the awareness, the consciousness, the being, which is not caught in the physical world, but comes to take part in the play of existence. You see, the doors to the true self open outward, not inward. The doors to the true, authentic, blissful, spiritual, divine self that you are opens out into the world. The times that you put your negatives to one side, thinking they will be forgotten or not seeing, as a veil to the expression of your true blissful spiritual self. So the acceptance of it gives you the opportunity to change and the opportunity to open still further. So let me give you an example. If it is true that you are the spiritual being, and you are living a life in a human form for 80 years, and you desire to be the most pure you can be, and therefore hide away your negativity, the hiding of that negativity means you have not accepted the wholeness of your being. And therefore, the true spiritual self cannot be totally expressed into the life being lived. The spirit self does not judge you, does not say you should not be. In fact, the spirit self just shines a light, no matter the cloud that may be present. The spirit self is loving, even at times when you have been angry for a few moments. The spirit self is aware and sees the negativity that you hide from the world. But it loves you anyway. That is what unconditional love is. And how would your self-esteem be if at times you could say, well, in that situation, anger within the being will arise. In that situation, there will be a lack of compassion to others. In that other situation, my addictive behavior will come to the surface. Is that not more whole than trying to hide away? Is your spiritual nature not whole, or is it fragmented? Is your spiritual nature loving no matter, as opposed to, I will love you when you are compassionate, but not any other time? So you can see now why there are times where self-love becomes the most difficult pathway to walk. It becomes difficult because of trying to hide away the negativity. Yet self-love is always available. Self-love is not hidden, restricted, only given on a Tuesday or anything like that. Self-love is the very same love that you may give to a young child or grandchild or to a puppy or a kitten. It's the self-love. And that is available all the time. So there are certain traditions which say you have sinned and you must be forgiven for your sins. Otherwise, you will not walk through the gates into heaven. But where is the love in that? The love is given regardless, and you will be welcomed into heaven regardless of the trials and tribulations you have lived through. Because the truth is, you already sit in heaven and are looking down into the physical world. So how can you not be allowed into it? So there is a principle here to be followed. Be aware of your negativity. Now, that does not say change your negativity. It says be aware of it. Notice it is there. It is the humanness that is coming to the surface, not the spiritualness. Be aware that it may happen. And it may happen at times or circumstances in one particular way and not another. But if you are sufficiently aware and know anger will arise when the certain set of circumstances come together, if you have seen it and recognize it, when them circumstances develop once more, then you can just wait and watch and see the seed of anger starting to arise and just let it go. You'll find the anger then will be minimized. It'll be reduced. It'll be dealt with. So awareness always brings love. Awareness of the mistake you made when you was a teenager. The mistakes you will make in the future life. The times you said something that you should not have. Or did something which caused difficulty and pain. Bring the awareness to your life. The positive, the negative, the difficult, the easy. Accept you are the whole being coming to have the physical experience, and allow the love to flow to the times of negativity. You can only advance spiritually in accepting the whole self. Not just what is on the right side of your being and not the left. It is all or nothing. So simply be aware of your whole life. And then we will make progress beyond that. In a recent talk, we spoke about there are two plays being lived. The first is the play of the physical life. I suppose that is what we've just spoke about, the play of the human side, trying to understand the spiritual side. And then there is a second play, this play of the soul thinking that it is gaining, learning, developing, and growing. Where you exist beyond both these plays into the spiritual being of the true spirit self. If you take just a moment now, and it may be just a moment, of mere seconds, if you look inwards, you cannot deny a sense of being. You may doubt what that being is, but you cannot deny it is there. There is a presence here being lived the life. A certain presence that is unmistakable. Often people say that is my core. That's my essence. That is my being. If you can place your attention on that sense of being, and the life that you are living are no more than garments over the top of it. If you can sit with that sense of being, the physicality begins to drift away and becomes insignificant. But the mind, of course, is rambling and will soon think of a thought or a situation or a circumstance. That sense of being is more truthful than any value, any positivity or negativity, any human aspect of your life. It lives beyond the physicality of existence. It lives beyond the journey of the spiritual soul. And that sense of being is ever present. It is the very same in one and another. And will never leave you. Because that sense of being is you. And the meditations and times of your quietness, times where you just sit and look at sunrises and sunsets, that sense of being is the truth. And it always comes with love. The journey to that sense of being is the seed germinating into the life. Now let us change the words. The Creator becoming visible. Now, of course, many will not like or even accept that phrase. But where is God or Spirit in your life? Where is Spirit in the times of your anger? Where is Spirit at the times of your belief in your authentic, compassionate self? Where is Spirit when you're alone or you're social within groups of others? Where is Spirit at your birth and your death? There is never a time, never a time that the presence of Spirit, the being, is not present, is not there. There is never a time when the availability of love, awareness, and being is unavailable. no matter the circumstance. So your mission this week is to accept your whole self, all aspects, and be aware of that self. Be the awareness, not the anger. And let the true awareness and love through the open doors flow into the whole of the physical world. There is nothing to be done, only a true expression to be. A simple message to finish. Mirabai. Let the flow of words flow through your heart. It is pushing to be expressed. Until next week. God bless you all.